All right, I want to do a reading right now. This is basically a checkup on World War III. Things have happened, right? So let's just take a peek and see what we got as far as that goes. So the root card is the Chariot, and the Chariot is very directed energy. It's directed movement and focus. The Chariot as a root card would show that energy would be theoretically moving toward World War III and that it would be pretty focused. The main card is the reverse star. So the star is generally some sort of blessing. The star reversed, it can show up as something that is kind of asked for, and then when it shows up, it turns out to be terrible. But let's look on either side of the star just to get some context. And we get a bunch of reversed cards here. Okay, so the reversed Queen of Wands leading up to the reverse star. The Queen of Wands reversed is basically jealous and manipulative. Feels like they're not getting enough recognition. And this sort of manipulative, jealous sort of energy is what leads up to this reverse star, which is probably showing up as a pretty bad thing. And as that moves forward, we end up at a Two of Wands also reversed. The Two of Wands is successfully utilizing two different things together. And when it's upside down, it's like not being able to find a solution that utilizes these two different pieces in concert. So certainly you could see aspects of the thing that's happening in Israel here. The two things that can't be used together, and the star reversed would show like a terrible thing. And also this sort of manipulation and failure of being recognized that are showing up in that. But I mean, all of this stuff showing up in this reading would show that it's part of a larger picture too. And the Chariot is showing this directed movement that's going right through here. So this just shows really shitty conditions and sort of that maybe World War III is being moved toward, but we're not there yet. So I'm going to pull a card here on what would the catalyst be, right? And again, we have a reverse card. But the reverse Three of Wands is basically showing a fear that something that you've put so much energy into is going to give you back nothing. It's like putting energy into something for years and years, and it's the fear that it would be taken away. I'm going to put another card just to find out, like, if there is a specific source that this is coming from, and it is the Devil. Obsession and possession. So here, the thing that would actually spark World War III, a fear of something that people are obsessed with, and have become possessed with, that will be taken away after putting so much energy into it. Now, this is going to be kind of a yes or no, because I want to see if the spark for World War III would happen in Israel. And the Knight of Wands, this shows impulsive movement of, soldiers or whatever. I would take this as a yes, but it could also be any sort of impulsive movement that would happen in another place. But considering all that has transpired, the Knight of Wands would probably say yes to that. All right. Now, what is the likelihood of the current situation in Israel leading to this spark and World War III. The Hermit. That is fucking weird. I mean, honestly, as I look at the Hermit, I'm not seeing that this is showing a strong likelihood. If anything, the Hermit is showing kind of a withdrawal and, and a fear, right? But theoretically, the Hermit is about going inward and sort of learning more about who you are and all of that. But I'm going to put one more on this because it's just a very strange thing. As I look at it, the thing that's really sticking out to me is just the way that he has his hands around his eye. So it's like peeking out from behind this hand, this eye, you know? Jeez. Now, the eye, maybe this is a fucking Illuminati reference or some shit like that. But the thing that wants to come out, as I say that, is a page of swords, which shows this robotic eye. Dang. So to me, this is showing like surveillance and AI and technology and all that kind of thing. This is like the eye maybe that sees everything. Now, I guess this is going to lead to another question. Is there some sort of AI that is trying to keep World War III from happening? And a Two of Swords would say no, that is unfortunately not true. That would be a good thing for the AI to do to try to keep World War III from happening. All right. I'm going to pull one more on this, even though we do have the eye specifically, but give me anything else on this because I'm not really understanding. And the moon is showing manipulation. Okay, so I think the eye and the withdrawal and the fear. Also, like the electronic eye of the Page of Swords, I think this is showing manipulation probably of information. And as people would withdraw, and it's like they would be afraid to go out of their houses to see what was actually true. And that makes a lot of sense to me. But this is interesting. It just shows, and we're looking at the likelihood of World War III coming out of the current situation in Israel. This really just shows fear and probably manipulation of information. But again, I am not reading this as saying that the current situation is likely to spark World War III. Let's just see if we can get a timeline. I mean, between now and the end of days, there will be another world war. I'm pretty sure of that. So let's just see if we can get a timeline on that. And we get a 10 of Swords. So this would be somewhere between 10 months and 10 years. It's not 10 aeons, though. But anyway, this is showing sooner than later. So I guess on the long end of that scale, it would be 2033. And on the short end of that scale, it would be 2024. Let's see. Is there anything that could diffuse the situation? And we get a Knight of Cups. So the Knight of Cups is the spiritual seeker. They are going out of their way. All right. So we had one more that wanted to come out. I'm going to get rid of them all except for these two. This is also going to show the fruitlessness of this fucking situation. Keeping in mind that these decisions are made by world governments, militaries, and fucking militias, right? how much spiritual seeking happens in any of those groups? And the answer is pretty much zero, right? But what could diffuse the situation? The Knight of Cups feels this spiritual and emotional call, and they're going outside of their comfort zone to try to figure out what is calling to them. And here the world shows up as the thing that is actually calling, and the world, it's the last card of tarot, and it shows a natural completion. It's like the end of a cycle. And there is no world government that is going to be spiritually led to allow things to just fucking complete and be over with, right? So that doesn't look very good as far as what could possibly diffuse the situation. But in the short term, at least coming out of the Israel situation, this doesn't really look like World War III is about to break out. Now, I'm going to collect these, and we might as well ask the same thing about Ukraine. I haven't looked at Ukraine for a while in the tarot, but nothing really tends to change in that situation. So let's just see if the likelihood of World War III breaking out in Ukraine. And the reverse Seven of Pentacles is the inability to learn by doing. This would probably show not learning after making a bunch of mistakes. But I don't think this is World War III there either. It would probably be more of the same, you know, until I guess they run out of fucking weapons or money or whatever. So it's kind of a dismal reading, but that is what we get here. And if you do have a question that you would like me to look at, hit up the Patreon channel, and it's Tarot by Fergus on Patreon, and for as little as $5 a month. I will take your reading requests. That's what we have for now, and peace.